to Summoner's Rift. "30 seconds until minions spawn." Minions have spawned. An ally has been slain. Enemy double kill. An enemy has been slain. Enemy killing spree. Your team has destroyed a Enemy double kill. An enemy is legendary. Your inhibitor is respawning soon.
What is the most expensive thing you own?
My Bored Ape NFT.
My apartment. I bought it for 3.5 million. Yeah.
Today I'm in New York City and I'm going to try to guess people's income by asking a few questions. Let's get into it. What's your name? Where are you from?
I'm Vanessa Nagoya. I'm from Orange County, California.
First question, what is the most expensive thing you own?
Louis backpack,
How much does it cost?
$2,500. I was 17, so.
Second question, do you think money buys happiness?
Well, I feel like it comes from a place of privilege to say that it doesn't. I don't think like the extra things like that Louis backpack made me even 1% happier of a person than I am now.
Third question, what is your highest level of education?
1.25 year of college. Well, I'm taking like a gap semester.
80K a year?
That's like close.
100 grand?
That's close.
Okay, what's the number?
110.
Okay, nice. What do you do?
I make YouTube videos.
Okay, for sure. What's your name?
Maurice.
Where are you from?
I'm from New York City.
First question, what is your highest level of education?
Some college. Probably the equivalent of like a sophomore.
Second question is, what is the most expensive thing you own?
My crypto.
And what crypto do you have?
I have a lot of crypto, yeah.
Third question?
Yeah.
Does money buy happiness?
Money absolutely does not buy any happiness whatsoever. I think a lot of people try to buy their way out of their problems when they should be looking internally.
100K?
A little lower.
85K?
It could be somewhere between 70 and 80 something, yeah.
So what do you do?
I work in crypto.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. You on FaceTime right now?
Yeah, I'm on FaceTime.
Who are you FaceTiming?
Oh, this is my friend from work. Her
What's
name's
her name?
Jessica. Yeah, she's gonna help me out.
What's your name and where are you from?
Brianna from the city.
First question, do you think money buys happiness?
It could definitely buy me some happiness for sure. Yeah.
Second question, what is the most expensive thing you own?
Bro, do I even own anything? Like, what the fuck? Let's say my laptop.
How much is it?
I don't know, like 1,200.
Third question, what is your highest level of education?
Well, I'm a senior right now at NYU.
It's like 10,000 a year?
Damn, that's not good. Did you even know your income? I'm gonna give it like 20, like aside from work. I coach a baseball team and a softball team. Get his income too. He probably makes way more bread than me.
Have a good one. You too. What's your name
My
and
name's-
where are you from?
My name's Michael. I'm from Michigan. This is Gigi.
First question, do you think money buys happiness?
No, happiness has to come with it. In order for that to happen, you have to be honest.
Second question, what do you think is the most expensive thing you own?
Probably the stroller. I think it was like $2,000 or something like that.
Well, third question, what is your highest level of education?
High school.
500,000 a year?
No.
Higher or lower?
Lower.
200,000? Higher or lower?
Lower.
90K?
0.
Zero.
I'm a stay-at-home dad.
Oh.
My partner works full-time. She is senior project manager. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, have a good one. What's your name?
Costa.
Matt,
And where are you guys from?
I'm from Pittsburgh, Bethlehem, Pennsylvania.
First question, what is the most expensive thing you own?
Probably like a Montclair jacket, like $2,000.
Second question is, do you think money buys happiness?
Money allows the ability to be happy, but no, it doesn't make you happy.
Third question, what is your highest level of education?
Yeah, we're currently working
Yeah.
through school, econ majors.
Where you guys go?
Yeah.
NYU.
I'm gonna guess combined income for your business, whatever it is, like 20 grand?
No, not 20 grand.
Higher or lower?
Higher.
40 grand.
Higher.
Higher.
45. I had to pay taxes on like 113.
What do you guys do?
Well, I ran my own fund for a little bit. I was like selling option volatility
Asking people
assets.
shit.
Yeah, that's cool. Best of luck with the options. What's your name?
Jordan.
And where are you from?
I'm from South Africa.
First
Okay.
question is, what is your highest level of education?
Oh, master's.
Master's.
Yes.
What'd you study?
International affairs.
Second question
Yeah.
is, what is the most expensive thing you own?
Probably this bag, actually. So that was a perfect, like, prompt. 1,200.
Okay.
Yeah.
Worth it?
Yeah, definitely worth it.
Last question is, does money buy happiness?
No, I don't think it buys happiness, but I think it gives you a foundation to do the other things that can bring you, happiness.
For sure. 150,000?
Ooh, okay.
Higher or lower?
Lower,
100K?
pretty much. I'm a consultant.
You guys are awesome. Thank you so much. What's your name?
My name's Alex.
And where are you from?
Miami.
First question is, what is your highest level of education?
I got a bachelor's in criminology from South Florida in Tampa.
Second question, what is the most expensive thing you own?
My Bored Ape NFT.
Oh.
The floor is 90.
Third question is, does money buy happiness?
Absolutely not. Well, it can buy good times, but I don't know. If you find a product that sells happiness, let me know.
You got the Bored Ape? I mean...
It's not a Bored Ape, I lied. It's a mutant ape, so.
Oh. Okay.
But it's
What
still,
is
the
it?
floor's 28.
120K a year?
You got it? You got it?
That's it?
That's it.
What do you do?
I'm in advertising.
Okay.
Wow, that was very good.
What's your name?
I'm Maggie,
And where are you from?
Philly,
First question is, what is your highest level of education?
high school.
High school?
Yeah.
Second question is, what is the most expensive thing you own?
Probably my car. It's like 15,000. It's just the Chevy.
Third question is, does money buy happiness?
No, you can like buy something and then you'll get like happy about it, and then it just goes away.
40K a year?
No.
Higher or lower?
Higher.
Higher. 75K.
Higher.
Close?
Closer.
120K.
100.
100. What do you do?
I'm a hairstylist.
Oh. That's pretty much everything?
Thank you.
Yeah? What's your name?
My name's Marcelo.
Where are you from?
I'm from Jersey.
First question,
Huh?
what is your highest level of education?
I'm a college dropout. I only did like 2 years of college, but I quit it because I realized how bullshit kind of is.
Second question is, what is the most expensive thing you own?
Probably gotta be my phone. That shit was like a good,
Grand, yeah.
yeah, about say $700 or so.
And last question is, does money buy happiness?
Me personally, I don't think so. But for some people who are like in the struggle, yes. You can have all the money in the world, but you can still be depressed as shit, you know?
80K?
I wish, cuz.
60K?
No.
50? 40? 30? 30K?
I'm gonna tell you something. Pay medical workers more because we deal with a lot of bullshit.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate it, man.
First question, what is the most expensive thing you own?
My apartment. I bought it for 3.5
Million. Million.
Yeah.
What area is it in?
Flatiron?
Second question, do you think money buys happiness?
No, buys you a whole different set of problems. You have to wonder who you're dating, and then you just have to wonder about yourself a little bit and how you can deal with yourself.
Third question is, what is your highest level of education?
College degree.
What'd
Just
you
a
get?
bachelor's.
What'd you major in?
Doubled in physics and math.
2 million a year?
No, it's lower than that.
It's lower than that.
Yeah.
500K?
A little bit higher.
What do you do?
I'm in data science, so I sold the company and I invested the money. Now my main source of income is from investments.
Cool. That's everything.
Yeah, I appreciate your time, I guess.
What's your name?
My name is Navon.
Where are you from?
I'm from Brooklyn.
What is your highest level of education?
I have a bachelor's in entrepreneurship. I went to FIT, the Fashion Institute.
Second question is, what is the most expensive thing you own?
This is probably like a K. There's probably 1K.
And third question, does money buy happiness?
Money doesn't buy happiness, but it buys access to things that can bring happiness.
80K a year?
Yeah, I'm an unemployed musician, so not exactly.
40K?
That's 50K. I'm a producer and a songwriter also, so I try to hustle.
You want to sing a little something?
I took a walk down the street that used to stay. Ooh.
Yeah, just off the cuff. I appreciate it. Yeah. If you enjoyed the video, you can click on the screen right now to watch another one just like this.
Welcome to Summoner's Rift. "30 seconds until minions spawn. Minions have spawned. has been slain. An enemy has been slain. An ally has been slain. Killing spree. An enemy has been slain. An enemy has been slain. An ally has been slain. Your team has destroyed a turret. Ally has been slain. Your turret has been destroyed. Shut down. An enemy has been slain. Your team has destroyed a turret. Your turret has been destroyed. Down. Ace. An ally has been slain.
Hey, yo, what's up? You're muted.
Welcome to Summoner's Rift. "30 seconds until minions spawn." Minions have spawned.
Hey, now you're there.
I don't know what's up with that.
Yo.
Dude, I'm dying, man.
Oh, with the level 2 stuff?
No, not even. That's just on the horizon. But Mina's working on it. But we have random documents, just don't have any ESG data. And I query the endpoints, and it's literally an empty dictionary. I'm like, okay, well that's not good, right?
Yeah.
And I run analyze, get all the results, totally normal, right? And it's like, okay. So I'm looking at how we like interact with the database, and how I'm just lost in controller's hell.
Oh, the controllers is the worst.
It's like, first of all, I'm lost, but secondly, I'm looking at a couple of these functions, and it's like, you know, get ESG data. I'm like, okay. And you look, and it's like, okay, it queries the table with the data in it, and it gets the results. It might format them differently, but you're like, okay, that makes sense. What's this set ESG data? And it like queries the database, gets the data, reformats it, and then returns it. And I'm like, is
That's
this
like an
even a
upsert.
setter?
It might be like an upsert.
What does that mean?
Like update and insert or whatever, or like insert it if it doesn't exist, otherwise update it if it does exist.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm thinking, but I'm just reading it and I'm not seeing that. But I might also just be kind of negative on the whole thing at this point. So plus it's getting data based on the document ID. First of all, there's multiple versions of the document, so I guess hopefully it's getting the latest version, which I'm not sure that it is, which potentially a problem right there. But there should really only be one version of the document, so that shouldn't matter.
Yeah.
But then it's only querying it by the document ID, which I suppose in theory should be unique, but technically the only guaranteed unique thing that we have is triplet, right?
Right. Like a whole bunch of the app is ignoring version ID, which is fine if you re-upload the docs every time like we do with feature 1 and feature 2, right?
Right.
It's only a problem if you don't, I think.
And
like start
maybe
from
is this
scratch.
like, is this like Laura's thing that like she has this or had all of this figured out and now nobody
She only
does?
wrote the Nemopedia controllers. I don't know who wrote the other controllers, probably Joel and stuff.
Well, this is blaming Laura, but...
Oh,
oh
yeah.
wait, no, actually, sorry, I was looking at the CDM now. This is blaming me and Brian. But I just merged Brian's branch, so...
Brian's written a ton of it too, yeah.
Yeah, and... the thing is, there's no like typing, so it's like raw ESG data. I kind of assume that's a dictionary.
Yeah, you don't really know.
But set ESG data, right? So it takes in a document ID and this raw ESG data. Then it gets the ESGs with that document ID from the raw ESG data. It creates a new dictionary, and each item in the raw ESG data that we filter down to, it appends it or sets it to that dictionary.
Yeah.
and then it returns the dictionary. So it's set ESG data, and I'm almost certain it's creating a new dictionary from nothing, putting data in it and returning that data to you.
Oh,
That's
that might
set
be it.
ESG data.
Because a lot of the controllers will build stuff up, like partly from the database, partly from like inference, and partly from looking at the doc object actually, and then return that as like a dictionary to the front end, which is like so bad.
Sure, but why is it called set ESG data? It's not
Because it's setting it in the JSON for the front end, bro. Don't you know?
And like, look, I don't
thing.
know. What my thing is like I'm totally willing to be like ignorant and not understand what I'm talking about, but it feels really wrong to me. Like,
yeah.
It's a setter. I expect it to actually set some attributes on something, not create a new thing.
Oh yeah. It's just bad like that, I think. Like I told you, the parties in the front end, super confusing because it just like will display a hard-coded list of definitions. Like it's straight up looking at the parsed doc. Like you're not supposed to access the parsed document in the controllers, right? That's like a big no-no. Like controllers should be reading from the database, you know, and showing that info. And it's like, oh no, reparse the document. Look for a borrower definition. If in there it says something about an agent, it's like, why are you doing that here? Like what? So bad. Probably like 10% of the parties issues we have to go in the controllers and like edit some static you know, like they have all those dictionaries that are like a JSON as a string in a Python file. Yeah, I have to edit those all the time for parties because they'll just have like a list of company names or a list of definition names, and it's like, this is just not the place to do that, dude. And then they have like helper Python functions that like take in a CSV file and write out a .py file of like a dictionary of things. I'm like, what are we doing? Like, what is this?
It literally creates a .py file?
Yeah. There's one that literally creates a .py file from an XLS file. And I'm like, where's this XLS file come from? Who maintains that? The lawyers? Why don't we just maintain like, even just maintaining a JSON would be better, or like parsing an XLS file like, occasionally, whenever we want to, right? It's not even like updated in real time. I feel like we should upload a new version of that old Excel file there. It's so bad. Anyway,
I don't know enough about like Brian's workflow and stuff and all that, but I just kind of get the impression that like he's probably a smart guy and all that, but it feels like he just flies by the seat of his pants. Like, who knows?
Yeah, which you kind of need for this place anyway. But like,
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess he gets shit done, but actually, honestly, but some of this stuff, yeah, it's like Laura, and it's all mixed together. I think that's part of the problem is, I don't know, it seems like Brian didn't necessarily start on all this stuff, so like he's probably just filling in, which is probably part of why it's not coherent.
But he's also not like a back-end guy, really.
Yeah. But I hardly am though. I just am because this is my first turn.
Yeah.
Anyways, I guess I'm a little bit in my head blaming Brian just because I've seen his name a few times. I think a lot of this actually is like Laura and probably Joel and who knows who. And me, apparently, although I'm sure that most, like, probably 99% of this was not actually me. Oh, I think that branch that he had me merge, he said was, like, Laura's branch. So, yeah, we might have just some really weird shit going on. But the thing, okay, so anyways, though, just back to my thought process here. The set ESG data, I swear this is not what a setter is, okay. But here's the thing, is like we're only missing it on like 1 or 2 documents that we know of. So like, it's not happening all the time. So why are we just randomly missing data, right?
Oh yeah, well that's because the controllers will just leave holes in the data, man. That's how they do it. That's why I'm so like opposed to David's philosophy of just silently failing with holes in the data, because it's annoying as shit, man, when you have to find out why it's missing.
Oh yeah.
Oh, which of these 14 stacked function calls is like missing a key, or there's a typo in a key or something, or it's, I don't know.
That's the thing too, is like you might just think like, oh, it searched and it didn't find anything, and you don't realize it actually raised it.
Yeah. It's like, does the analysis not have results, or is it just like getting filtered out? You don't know. You guess you have to look in the database to see if maybe it's getting filtered out.
The logs, I guess.
Yeah, or the, oh, I hate looking at the logs. It's like the worst way to find out what's going on. Reading like the debug log, just like 1,000 lines long.
Yeah.
Like AWS and stuff in like modern companies, you have like you can elastic search the logs, right? So you can kind of like get through them quick. But that's just a waterfall of info.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But yeah, I'm like severely spacing out because I don't want to be doing this.
I know. Dude, the controllers have so many nested calls. Or like, not really nested. It's just like spaghetti, right? They're small functions, they're all calling each other, they're all mutating the same dictionary, and it's like just impossible. Or just a lot of brain power to follow.
Yeah.
It literally, everything I touch in controllers ends up being like a full day of work to make like the smallest little edit. It makes you realize that like, okay, so the analysis code looks ugly, but it's actually not structured that bad, right? At least it's like all in nice little one spot, it's linear.
Yeah.
Man.
It doesn't have red herrings like, it's that analysis data. Oh, what does that do? Oh, it deletes it. Oh, okay.
Yeah. I was just updating some party's code today. That was like the worst named stuff I've ever seen in my life. I was like, what the heck? Where like it names like what it's doing more than what it's giving you or why it's doing it. It's like match ICL by institution name. Like, okay, so we're matching something. I don't know what ICL is. I don't know what we're matching it for. I don't know what it's returning. Like, I don't know what we're using. I don't know. And then they the name variable for a party name is just NM. And if he formats it, he'll call it NM1. And then if he formats it a different way, he'll call it NM2. So it's like matching NM1 against like this certain list and NM2 against this other list. And then uses P interchangeably to mean party or parent. It could be either one. So P company could be like party company or parent company. You don't really know. And then sometimes I'll have like a loop variable. So I'll like Pico, say P company and Pico and NM1. Like, all this horrible stuff.
Oh no.
It's so bad.
Yeah, that's the thing about using single variables for your stuff. Unless it's like a literal math problem. You know. Yeah, it works in this one spot, but like you said, all of a sudden, oh, now we have two names that start with a P. Like, what do we call them?
Yeah.
P, you know, like, oh, okay.
P2.
I've been trying to, and it's easy to fall into that kind of stuff too, of course, right? So I've been kind of trying to, I've probably said this before, like start out with sort of a longer name. I'll try to act full-blown long most of the time, but you know, whatever. Like for instance in the shadow stuff, like the document structure, we kind of call like the words annotations, because it could be the word ID and the word in a tuple, or it could be a dictionary with more data, and then those dictionaries can also be nested because they can be overlapping, which I don't understand why they use a nested structure for that, but so anyways, all of that is like sort of an annotation is what I've picked up on. So in that case, I would like you know, if you're going to process an annotation for whatever reason, the input argument would be annotation. If you are looping through those annotations, it'd be like anno, and then if you do some other kind of loop inside that, it'd be a, but inside like a for loop, or not a for loop, but like a list comp.
Like a list comp,
right?
yeah. List comp's are nice to have single letter.
Right.
That's why I like
yeah.
calling things actually like documents and stuff, because then when you have a loop variable, it's like, oh, doc, and then it's just clear what the loop variable is. Like, you can just tell, oh, it's 3 letters, that must be a loop variable.
Yeah. I hope maybe this is what's wrong. But the shadow stuff, I'm getting clearly not enough data in the diffs. Like, it's just missing a lot of data. And I'm like, I don't know why that is. But I think it's because it's producing errors, and I was getting so many different errors and like different errors on different documents that I kind of started having a pass on those, you know. And so I think it's erroring on some things. There's just so many errors that it's impossible to, you know, progress at all without knowing them. But That's what he's going for. Oh, right, yeah. So, at least what's nice in this document structure, if I'm not mistaken, the single word annotation, the word ID, comma, string, right, the words, those seem to always be tuples. And then paragraphs or lists of those words, or, the other types of annotations are dictionaries, in which case they have a words component, which contains a list of those tuples. So because those types are different like that, I use single dispatch this function that's like recursively calls itself its tuple. So you can basically pass it like all the paragraphs. It's like, oh, it's a list. It's probably paragraphs. So we'll loop through that, and then oh, those are lists too. So probably paragraphs. We'll loop through that, and then it's like, oh, it's a tuple. So we just return it or yield it, right? So it flattens the whole structure, and you get just the words back, even though it's like this nested dictionary thing going on.
Right.
So that's kind of a cool function thing.
I like overloading for that. It's like, oh, it's like a list of paragraphs, and then just like handle each one, and then it calls the paragraph form of it or whatever. And then paragraph one might call the sentence form one. It's like, oh, nice. Breaks it down.
Yeah. Yeah. I like it.
Yeah, I like doing that with class methods too. Like, oh, how do I build it from like a JSON? Well, it's like, I don't know.
Yeah, the shitty part is that then we JSONize the results. So in server test side, I can't, there's no tuples, so I have to like look, is it empty? If it's not, is the first thing an int, then it's probably the normal annotation yielded, But it's basically the same principle. Yeah, what's just annoying though is like it's not a class or anything, right? It's just it's just lists, tuples, nested. The tables are instead of a list inside of the list of paragraphs, it's a dictionary type of table, and it has paragraphs, and in those paragraphs naturally will be the paragraphs, right? And then those paragraphs are the words. Or they could also have annotations that are section references, etc. So the tables get super nested like that. And yeah, just tripping over all this is super annoying because you don't really know like how the nested structure works. Most of the time it's not nested, right? But occasionally it's very nested. So it's like, oh, it can just keep going. Okay.
Yeah. It's kind of bad if your JSONs are arbitrarily nested because like Chrome and stuff will optimize knowing the keys and stuff. You're not supposed to have this arbitrary nesting. Like, it's supposed to avoid meaningful keys. Like, your keys shouldn't really carry any information to the front end for JSONs. Instead of like keying by party name, if you do that, you should also have a name key under there or something, right? So like redundant information kind of, because Chrome will look at the keys and like cache stuff based on the key, not, so yeah, you don't really want values as keys, I think is what I'm trying to say.
That value or item around.
Yeah.
It should have its name contained within itself then, right?
Yeah, exactly. So try to have like lists of dictionaries.
This is one of the annoying things about the document structure is that the elements, so, main and then all the schedules, right? Those are keyed in by their ID, which is a number, an int, and they're also keyed in by their name. And the ones that are keyed in by the int, the ID, have an ID, item or attribute or whatever, and they also have a name attribute. But the ones that are keyed in by name have an ID attribute, but they don't have a name attribute. And it's not a big deal because it's at the top of the structure, so it's just immediately you run into that. But it's like, why do we have each element in this JSON twice at the top level, and one of them has an extra attribute that the other doesn't? Like it feels very incoherent to me. Like somebody worked this up and just rolled with it,
Right.
Which is probably exactly what happened, but And that's just the easy stuff is at the top level there. Like all this nested stuff, then you just eventually you get like, oh yeah, I have no idea whoever, like whatever the thought process here, only gonna figure it out once the errors stop happening. But anyway, I don't know, I feel really dumb. Like it's taken me so long to get through that on the shadow references. And like I told you, I'm missing tons of data in my diffs. Like I have like, I don't know, 5 definition names in main, and that's all it picks up on in the diff. Like just 5 rows. And it's like, yeah, that's obviously not correct because there's section references all over all the documents in main.
Yeah.
Right? So it's like, that's obviously not right. There's more definitions than 5 definitions. So like, it doesn't make sense. But anyway, I have a feeling I'm just going to find it and then all of a sudden it'll all be there. But point is, if that's not annoying enough, it's like, well, what takes precedence? I guess if our ESG data is straight up missing, that kind of takes precedence. And so now I'm in controllers and it's the same kind of thing. It's just like these arbitrary formats that are spaghettified all over the place.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we have like cache data, which is where I put the ESG data. And then I guess maybe it's the controllers, they query cache data, take out the ESG JSON, and then put it into data item string, which is another table, which just contains the same data in a different, slightly different format.
There's 2 caches, yeah, in slightly different formats.
And it's like, why?
I know. One was for Nemopedia, I think, or a different page. I don't know actually.
I think that's exactly what it is. It's just like one page uses that table and the other page uses this table.
Yeah.
And
I think
mean, I
based on how
suppose
they wanted to filter, they needed like certain columns or they needed it flattened. I think it's flat. That's one of the things.
Well, the cache data is flat. I mean, like the data is a JSON that's not flat. Well, it's pretty flat, but the data item string, I think, is the same thing. It's just got some extra columns, which I guess they can obviously sort by it and filter and all that. But I don't know. It's kind of like at that point that I don't really care how it works. I just don't know how it works, and it's not immediately like it's not self-evident. That's what's killing me.
I was watching this, how much people make and what they do in New York. It's like a People in New York series on YouTube, and this one guy like started a data science startup and sold it and invested the proceeds, and now he makes 700K just on investment, like dividends and stuff. I'm like, holy shit.
Oh,
yeah. That's the way to go. Why are we working startup hours if it's not our thing? Like if Nightmare goes nuclear, you'll probably make good money, but not like that much.
Probably not really though, dude. Like I have 10,000 options, I think. Yeah, I think they're worth, I could look it up. I don't have more than 10,000, so let's just say I have 10,000.
Yeah.
But they're only valued right now at, unless they change the valuation, I guess that's in the process of changing.
I think they're worth like $2 a share, aren't they?
I think they were going to be, but our valuation went down because of the market, you know? So it's probably going to be $1 something like that.
Yeah, $1.50 a share. Which is like nice, but you know, it's not that guy.
But yeah, at 10,000 shares, it's like, but I don't even think I have that many shares though. Do I?
They vest over time. You're not gonna have the 10,000 for 4 years, I think. It's a long time.
That's just the thing. I was telling my family about that when I started getting these options. I'm like, it's cool, but you got to be careful because if you think you're gonna get all those options, that means for the ones you have right now, you're gonna be here for 4 years, which means the ones you get in the future, you will have to be there another 4 years.
Yeah, you gotta
You're never gonna
keep
collect
staying.
on all. Yeah.
Yeah. 4 years is a long time in startup land too.
Yeah, that's just the thing. Like, you moved around like every 2 years, right?
Yeah.
That's probably a
More,
little
actually, like
faster
every
than
year and a
me
half.
general.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
I want to be done moving around, but like if companies keep coming with better offers, it's like hard to say no.
Yeah. That is what sucks about my position is that, you're saying that Nano is one of the better ones, and like I have like a whole feature and then revamped a whole other feature, so I have like big impact now.
Yeah.
But I'm also at, even though I started out pretty good, I'm still at the like starting salary range, right? So like, unless they really take care of me, I probably have to jump around, right?
Right. And places tend to not take care of you. Although Samira is pretty cool, I bet she would.
Yeah. I mean, I got a $5,000 raise already.
Yeah. Pretty
It's
good
nice.
for 6 months.
Freaking inflation though, which is part of why I pressed for it. 'Cause I'm like, inflation's gonna be kicking in with stupid money.
Right.
I don't know. It's kind of weird. I feel like I'm definitely making more money than I ever have, but lifestyle-wise, I feel like I'm basically making as much money as when I worked at, like, delivering pizzas and at the restaurant at the same time.
Yeah.
And I suppose I could just spend more money, but I don't know. I was in my crash. I have to jump in on that.
It's mostly just like peace of mind, which is really nice. Having the retirement nest egg and stuff. But especially in big tech, everyone in big tech just plows all their money into the 401k anyway. Maxes it out.
Oh, yeah.
And your disposable's like literally no different then.
What's your like maximum that you can put into the 401k?
I think the 401k can do like 30 grand a year or something like that.
Oh wow, that would basically be like, yeah, all the excess and saving.
Yeah, and that's, I guess it's pre-tax, right? Or no?
Yeah, I think so.
I don't even know which one's pre-tax and post-tax. Too confusing.
I think over the long run, they're sort of the same, right? Like one of them is pre-tax, so then you pay the taxes in the back end, but you've got all the gains on the pre-tax money, so it's a larger pool of money, right? And then the other one, the Roth IRA, right?
Yeah.
Whichever is which, you pay the taxes up front, but then you don't pay any taxes.
Yeah, that's the thing. You don't pay any on the back end when you're withdrawing. That is nice.
Yeah.
But,
one of them probably is better than the other.
Yeah, I think the Roth IRA is better, but the income cap is like 150k salary, which is like, I don't know, it's not that high, yeah. So then there's this thing that tech kids will do called a backdoor Roth IRA, which is like almost as good. I don't know I don't know what makes it a backdoor. Like, I just don't know. It's too many tricks. But apparently to that you can invest like 200k a year in your backdoor Roth. So you got to do that if you want to retire early. But it's just like, I don't know.
I want to be, on all that shit, but I just have a hard time getting
Yeah.
I need to figure out where to put my money, guys, because I'm losing the 10% or whatever this year. even though if I buy a house, I'll probably come up still, you know, on it, on the money, but that's if I buy one. I don't even know if I want to buy a house.
Yeah.
You get
What's
choose
funny-
where you want to live for 10 years or something.
Yeah, it's hard to pick too. It's hard to like choose one spot to live like a good portion of the rest of your life. But on the other hand, moving sucks. But like houses aren't even that inflation resistant, are they? Like if you look at the 70s when we had rampant inflation, I think houses actually got cheaper because it was more expensive to borrow for mortgages. So it's like I don't really know what you do to get away from inflation. Bonds maybe? Bonds don't pay all the inflation, but I guess it's better than nothing.
But with a house though, you get more space, you know, more bang for your buck.
Yeah, it's like a lifestyle thing.
Yeah. Man, I'm so lazy when it comes to like home stuff though. Like,
same.
If I had extra incomes though, I guess I could just buy furniture and shit. But like, I haven't even unpacked my gaming computer yet. It's, you know, giant box and I got a few giant boxes still just in the middle of my bedroom. And I'm just like, you know, I sleep in there and that's it right now. So it's like not very motivating. And also I'm like, well, if I unpack my gaming computer, I'll certainly play it at least once, right? Because I unpacked it. But like, do I really want to like spend a whole night playing Counter-Strike? Like, I actually just kind of don't want to.
I know. Although I've been playing League more lately. It's kind of fun. I'm getting into like, I don't know, Amazon's such a boring job. You need to like play games or have a hobby on the side because like you're not going to be fulfilled from your work.
Oh yeah.
Nano used to be fulfilling, but I'm just getting tired of like the party stuff, like just never-ending Trellos. Every new document is like new hard coding needs to be done, so that just feels like mundane work just as much as Amazon now.
So have you been ghosting Joyce?
No, but she did just message me like an hour ago. But she
Yeah, she said
messages
she
me
was-
almost every day, and she's just like, "Oh, how are we coming on the Trello?" It's like, "I got like 3 more done. Alright, I got like 3 more done." It's kind of just like constant.
Oh, yeah.
But like they're never gonna end, right? Every new client stuff is like more Trellos. It's just hard to be motivated on a feature that's just never ending.
It sucks too because it sounds like it's so complicated and convoluted that they need somebody like you who can plug into it and know what's going on.
Yeah, I mean you and Charles could definitely. You just have to be
It
kind
would
of a
have to be
Nabu
my
expert.
thing, though, I think, you know?
Yeah, I wouldn't say the logic is actually that twisty. Like it's not like currencies or maturity dates or doing this disambiguation and stuff. It's not actually that hard. It's just like a lot of BS, a lot of hard coding, I would say.
Ugh.
Yeah. It's like we have to go to the guarantor schedule for one document, but then, oh, if we look in the guarantor schedule for other documents, we actually get bad results because, I don't know, the table's misparsed or something, who knows. So you have to like create rules that are so specific it'll only hit on that one doc. And then David will make a table update and, oh, look, now the asterisk at the bottom is coming as a column. And so it's breaking this hard-coded rule you've written for this other doc. And it's like, oh god. There's a lot of handwriting BS too. Like, gets bad parse because of just scribbles on the page and stuff. It's like, well, how do you ever account for that? These scribbles come as like a bunch of hashtags or something. Or pound symbols. Like, okay, well, if you see a bunch of pound symbols, it's probably bad parse, so just skip that line on the signature pages. Like, okay. It's like data munging, or data science, data cleaning, whatever you call it. And remember, in data science is like the hot thing everyone wanted to be doing.
Oh yeah.
Not anymore.
What is it that we do? Analysis?
Not data science.
Analysis?
It's just
data science?
Just software. I don't think that is like not really data. That's not really medium data or big data.
Yeah, it's not really big data, is it? Like, I guess we go across the document set, but the day-to-day stuff is really like a per document type of mentality, right?
We're also not doing like, I don't know, a linear regression to create a report to present to people to advise on something like that's data science. This is just I don't know.
Yeah, I suppose we're like collecting data, but we're not producing new data really. So.
Did I tell you about the parties bug or whatever? With that edit distance thing, not only was it super slow, like, it's like you get a 5x speed up by deleting the edit distance, but it's also buggy, because like, we take anything that's an edit distance of 2 or less, so any 3-letter acronym is 2 or less from every other 3-letter acronym. So we're just like, if you ever have a party that's a 3-letter acronym, it'll match to every single other name in our entire book. So you'll get a hit of like every single acronym on the front end. It's like so bad.
Is there any way to know that it's a 3-letter acronym, or is that part of the way that you know it's a party in the first place through this logic?
I mean, you can infer if it's 3 capital letters, it's probably an acronym, right?
Sure.
But I think we should just not be
like,
using edit distance on short strings.
I was thinking like maybe you can build on a per document basis if you have parties that are the length of an acronym. You have like, you know, if it's within 2 and the acronym is not this party name. But I don't know. I'm not totally sure how all that logic works.
I don't know.
Funny thing is, I probably would enjoy figuring out the try stuff, but I don't like Joel's style, so I don't really want to.
The product stuff, like the controllers and everything, or what?
No, the try stuff.
Oh yeah, the try stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean the tries is super cool, but Joel's implementation is just garbage. I feel like making them up from scratch is super fun. It actually works.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah. But it's a limited use case, just deduping party names and stuff.
Oh.
Yeah. Rolling up. The roll up was actually pretty cool too.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. It's like if you have Citibank and you also have Citibank NA, and that's the only other one you've seen, then it's probably like the same thing. If it's like an agent, so for 2 of the same party type, you roll up to a branch like that. Pretty cool.
Charles is doing something interesting with those facility type trees. Or tranches or whatever. He was asking me, how do you dedupe 2 trees? And I'm like, yeah, definitely can't explain that to you. I would just have to figure it out.
Dedupe which trees?
He was trying to dedupe subtrees. It sounds ambiguous because part of the problem is there's a few edge case documents where the same relationships are expressed in 2 different ways. You get 2 different trees that mean the same thing.
Oh, interesting.
So he's trying to, I think the point is that like they just want one truth to display on the front end or whatever. Or maybe they want to display both, but they want to know that it's like a duplicate and not a new thing or whatever. So he was trying to take 2 different trees that are formatted differently, like the facilities are at the top. There's like a commitment and shit. I don't really understand what all that means, but like, you know, different types of data would be at a different level in the tree for whatever reason. It's just detected these 2 formats, and so he wanted to like verify that they actually mean the same thing, just in a different order. And I'm like, I don't really know. I'm like,
super crazy.
I would figure it out if I had to, but I don't.
Yeah.
I don't understand what you're doing enough to, or actually I just don't understand how to do it without doing it myself, you know?
Yeah. I mean, dictionaries aren't like hashable for a reason. So I don't know how you would do a tree, like a set of trees.
Well, I think these are custom classes he's created.
Yeah. You'd have to figure out what it means to be unique, though.
Yeah, that was part of the problem. And I was telling him, like, I would probably go node by node and just see if the nodes are unique. And that'd probably be the miscommunication. But, because, you know, you could tell, like, you decide, like, is a node unique? Or are two nodes the same if they have the same children? What about the same parent, you know? Maybe you want to know both on separate rows or something. And
Yeah.
you know, diff or whatever. But the thing is like I don't fundamentally understand what his endpoint is, like what his goal is. So it's hard to say.
Yeah.
You know.
That's the thing. Unless you know what the goal is, it's hard to say. I would probably just make like
whatever
a thunder
I
hash.
told him though. Whatever I told him, he was like, "Oh, I think you gave me an idea." Yeah. And I'm like, "Oh, good." Because I don't know what I'm about. He claims that he's lifted a lot of concepts from my code and solo, and I'm like, oh shit. I hope I didn't do anything stupid.
Yeah, I know. I always felt silly because he said that about some of my old code that was like actually not that great.
Oh.
I'm like, oh, how much did you borrow from that?
He didn't tell me what, and I don't think there is a specific thing, he just kind of referenced it. And I'm like, thinking too, like, man, you're probably progressing more than me because you're actually reading other people's code. Like, I only read other people's code for the most part when I need to fix something.
Exactly.
Even when Charles shows his stuff, I only, like, kind of give it the cursory look over. I can't really dive into it because it's, like, using, you know, naming schemes that I don't really follow. And,
yeah.
PRS. Really key something reference. And I think it just basically is a type of match, just like a DT or CN for clause names, PRS for like a specific. You know, I don't know. Anyway. He put I noticed he put an enum in enums for that too. Got like DT 1 through 18.
Oh yeah.
Enum.
I'm glad he uses enums. He kind of makes them everywhere now. It's like,
That one is specifically I was like, I just saw it today because I don't know if that was just you're like basically what you're saying with the notes as an enum and enums, so I don't think that's the point of that. But I guess you probably use it in all the stuff that works in the central location, I guess. Yeah, I'm pretty much at the venting point of the night, I guess. I don't even know what I'm doing anymore looking at this stuff.
yeah.
I'm basically just drooling and being like, I should probably just bug Brian to figure this out. But I know he's like so busy with all this other stuff, he definitely won't want to do it if I can do it. But it's so hard to verify that the problem is with not my code, you know?
Right.
I did figure out how the endpoint works though, and I can, as long as I figure out the like transaction ID or something like that, I can hit the endpoint now and get exactly just the JSON for that particular document, you know?
Oh, nice.
That's pretty cool. Just got this ambiguous filters item, and you have to know what kind of a JSON to put in there, you know? And of course it returns nothing because that's the problem, is it's not. Let's double check. I think the answer to that is no. It's not making it into. Pretty sure now that I've had a moment of clarity here, it's in the cache data table, but it's not in the data item string table.
I like how parties have a party data attribute. It's another object, and then that party data object has the data's attribute.
I absolutely hate the party's data structure, and I'm so glad that I'm not the one working with it.
Every time
I was
there's
on
like
the
a
phone
bug.
with Darcy the other day, and for like a freaking hour, I was just trying to figure out like what the it's got a party datas, and that has a datas, and that has a blah blah blah, and I'm like, I don't even know what I'm looking for anymore. And she, you know, she's just like, yeah, it's just the admin agent, and I'm like, I have no fucking idea how to like filter down to that. And it's all lists too, so it's not even like killing me. It's not like that. I like the set logic. Get those extra rows in my AODs. Differ, you know, compare or whatever. It's a bunch of set logic, and it's like only heady until you figure out the right sequence to do things in, and then you're like, oh, beautiful. It's like 10 lines and it completely filters the way that you want to. Or not really filters, but just, you know, categorizes things. So you can filter. Man, I'm doing stuff today, but I've gotten almost nothing.
I got a lot done today, actually. Kind of nice. Well, debugging that party's code is a good jump start. Unless I have like a problem to fix, it's hard to get started sometimes. Then once I fix it, I'm like, I'm just gonna freaking clean up this code and fix that bug with the acronyms and whatnot.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was doing that a lot in PIODs where they had a really simple, like sometimes they'd have just really simple analysis updates. I'm like, yeah, I'll just kind of like rewrite the entire analysis so I'm changing that one line update, you know?
Yeah. It's nice sometimes though. Like this is just a bunch of Brian's code on the controllers that was like ugly. I'm like, okay, we can do this so much better.
Yeah.
It is always nice going back to Amazon because it's like the smallest little code base. Like super clean, super minimal.
Oh really? There's not even a lot of code?
No, 'cause it's all serverless. Like it's all using like Lambda functions and stuff. So it's super minimal. Way less code than Namu, believe it or not.
Yeah. I fixed some of those, probably was already talking about it today. The indexing issues with the definition matches.
Oh yeah.
I don't remember why they were wrong, but it was kind of cool to dive into that. And I think like one of them was a kind of a stupid error, but then the other one was like, it was kind of deep, I think. But it's kind of fun to just, even though it's a huge pain in the ass, like why is this index off? To be able to figure it out, it's kind of fun, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, that's right, because embedded definitions don't have the... They oftentimes will be embedded in the definitions. There is a definition name at the beginning of the text, which in theory you save off.
Oh, but it's not the same name though, is that the thing?
That's the thing, is it's not the same name, right? So like, whether or not we want to shave that definition off, the way it's doing it doesn't work because it's not the same name, so of course it doesn't match and shave it off, right? But because of that, the... Somehow, oh right, the definition... right, so the... Oh, right. So, that might be the case some of the time, but also some of the times, the definition text for the embedded definition does not contain that leading name, but it's... Which is weird, because its text is like, kind of ignoring that it's in a larger paragraph. So you need ultimately once you get a reference from that, it needs to have a start position in relation to the actual paragraph, not the embedded definition, which is short. So, you know, once I figured that out, I fixed some of them by figuring that out, but the remaining issue is sometimes the embedded definition is deep. Starts deep into the paragraph. It's not just the definition name that's shaved off, right? And then it's like, we don't even save that information, so it's like, you know, where the start indice is of this definition text, I don't know. And I don't feel like relying on just, you know, searching for that in the paragraph.
Yeah.
So, I think what I'm gonna do is, if I catch up on this other stuff, and we return to that, which I'm sure we will return to the definition highlighting, because like, if we're gonna show it, it better be right, you know? Anyway, then I'll probably just add new attributes to the definitions to save all these indices, so we just have them, because we're doing so much switching over the text the second time to figure out where the index is. It's like, why don't we just save the information?
Well, you still need to know which words you match, so even if you save the character index on each word, how do you know which words you have? You start with a regex match, right?
Mm-hmm.
How do you adjust that to find out which words you're spanning?
Well, how do we do? I don't remember actually how we do that currently, but it definitely does like splitting the strings and all that stuff over and over again.
Yeah. I mean, it does that, but like I think you still have to split the terms and count the length of each word.
Yeah, I think so.
I think there's still the bridge from like I have a regex match in with respect to some context. I don't know which, a paragraph, you know. And I need to get like find out the words.
Yeah.
I don't know how having then like we'll have smart words. The words will know which indices they are, but I don't know how to get to those words still.
Well, the problem is
regex
that you need at least the start word. And when you do that, your initial raw regex, index needs to be correct. And it needs to be adjusted for the fact that you started searching in the middle of a paragraph, not at the beginning, right?
Yeah.
That was the fundamental issue. And then lining up with words after that is the second issue. Yeah. I was thinking of saving the indices for the words. Seems like a lot of additional data, but I don't know, it's probably not. And then of course, like, you could just count the length and everything through it. I'm not really sure which is more efficient. Kind of a migration at that point, maybe. I suppose you could save the indices rather than counting the length up from the start of the paragraph to use the words to figure out like where it lines up the objects. You could like bisect the list of word indices until you hit the one that you overlap with, right? So if you have the end index, you check the middle word, and if it's less than, you check 3/4 up, right? So you can do it in faster time rather than do it in auto. But yeah, I suspect that's probably, I don't know if we do it. Just speed it up a little bit. If you want to get real fancy, you could save all these indices in a NumPy array. So they'd actually be in a single block of memory rather than like all over the heap.
Yeah.
And that's the point where we're talking about doing a lot of stuff that nobody's going to appreciate.
So are you saying like doing bisection, so like start at the middle word and see what its character start index is and see how that compares to your character start index?
Right. Or the end index, whichever one.
But you still don't know what your start index is with respect to, right? You still don't know how the match dot string lines up with the, like, you still have to choose which words to start counting from and stuff, right? Isn't that the whole issue? That's why we need to do string.find.
That's why, no, that's why I would save the start index. So like, for instance, you have a embedded definition. Its text starts in the middle of a paragraph.
Yep.
So I save the raw index, character index, into that text.
The character index of the match, right? The match.start.
This is before we make a reference. So this is just the definition text.
It's just the match object though, right? It's like what's that's your atomic thing. Is your match objects, right?
We're not at a match object. I mean, we use some presumably defined definition text as part, but once we have the embedded definition, at that point, when we figured out what its text is, I'm saying we should save that character offset in respect to the paragraph text, right? We can use that as an offset on the additional matches we make later in analysis, so that we can shift the regex match over to align it with the paragraph text. And then at that point we can use it bisection if we want to change and zero in on which word it lines up with, right? That makes sense.
Yeah, I understand if you have like chain references, so once you have like one reference that's anchored to the paragraph start, you can just anchor other references to that one and like chain your way up. I understand that makes sense. I still think you need to get that first reference to know that it's like with respect to the right thing.
I not really sure about the chaining references. I think every reference you create from that point on, when you're calculating its start index, which is in relation to the paragraph, not necessarily the match text, you could use the index for this embedded definition text that we've saved as the offset in order to align that start attribute on the reference. And then after that, figuring out which words, like the word IDs, would be a separate step. But I think that would help you, because like right now, well, it's just wrong right now, but especially though with like, you know, we're always splitting the strings and iterating through all of the words, trying to find the right word ID. And I think that could be potentially faster if we split the words once and have each word have a start and end index. That would be my take on it. I think more important, aside from like the technical details of how like any particular part of this works, I think what's more important is that we just made some of this metadata so that we would have access to it. Because right now we just do find with the string or whatever, trying to find the string.
I think you have to find with that string now. Like, I don't know how else you get from a regex start to
But imagine every word has its start and end index.
Yeah, but how do you know which words you searched? When you do readout search text, how do you know which words you're like searching? Right?
Because you'll have well, where did you source that text? That's the question. Right. Or maybe like what text are you searching?
It could be any text, right?
If you, let's say you're searching section text, you joined a bunch of paragraph text together, right?
Yep. And maybe even different sections text, yeah.
Right. So, and what's critical too is that the word IDs and that section of the document are kind of, I don't think they're a straight up breadth first search, or something like that. So the word IDs don't line up in order, which of course they wouldn't anyways as you explore the branches of the sections text. So you can't just find the first word index and assume it's David's terminology monotonic and, you know, iterates by one or whatever, increments by one. I think it's per paragraph or state. That's what I'm going with right now. So you'd have to save all that like metadata for how you constructed this string. And so then instead of, well, I guess that's the part of find sections by pattern that you just want to go looking in. It's how it does it, right? Convoluted.
Yeah, so find sections by pattern will do a bunch of stuff to the text. It'll like join paragraphs, even across sections. It'll trim clause names between the sections you've joined and whatnot. So like you have to consider if you're spanning paragraphs and all that stuff. Like it's kind of like a jumble, and that's why we have the find paragraph utility function that like tries to figure out which paragraph your reference is inside of actually, because you just don't know. You search some text at some Frankenstein, right?
Yeah.
The text you search is totally detached from any notion of paragraphs and words and everything.
Yeah.
I guess it's just hard to think of how you would ship that knowledge through the whole chain of command.
Yeah, you'd have to have like a new data type or something that follows that text. So you know after you create a match, like this is where the splits are in the paragraphs. You know, this paragraph is like index, 10 through 20 or whatever. And the next one may not be, right after this paragraph in the document, but for our purposes of searching, it's, 20 through 34 or whatever is the next paragraph. And then it gets complicated by those interjections in the middle of sections, right? So that's where your brain melts and you're like, well, I won't actually revamp this whole thing unless I have to. But hopefully I can do a little bit for instance, the embedded definition. When we're searching the embedded definition text, we at least know what paragraphs we're in. You just need to know what the offset is in the first paragraph. Because it's trimming off words in a non-standard way, basically. And also, ideally, I don't know if we care about trimming, like what happens when the embedded definition name is in the middle of its text. Do we want to trim that name off?
I don't think it can be in the middle.
Yeah, it can. Definitely.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I can't think of an example off the top of my head, but I just saw the code for that the other day.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's like, David has something like, the answer to everything in the universe and the meaning of life, quote, 42, took a really long time for a computer to compute.
Oh, yeah.
Something is an example, right? And that's where it occurs in the middle of that sentence. But the thing is like, in that case, would you even want to trim that out of that text? Because it kind of breaks the flow of the sentence then, right? So
No,
like,
I wouldn't trim it. I think we just trim it from the start to prevent like a false positive match at the very beginning.
And that's because it's not actually part of the sentence in the first place, right? Like here it says so-and-so means blah, blah, blah. But it's like the definition hasn't actually, the definition text hasn't, you know, its definition has not really started until after that means part or whatever. But I don't know, all fun stuff to think about, but holy shit, man. Actually trying to revamp find sections by pattern would be a bitch.
Yeah, I know. Like, Alden touched a bunch of that stuff, and it's just nuts. I don't know if I could do it. It's so deep and confusing, and like, yeah, across one wire and you're fucked.
I think I've gone through all of it, like, you know, individual pieces here and there. But it's like deep and nested enough where, like, you really don't want to fuck with that unless you have to. I've used a few pieces of it occasionally for, I somehow like deconstructed how it, I was searching some text raw, and then you use the like find pattern paragraphs or something like that, which is what, like, I think it was what gives you the references, multiple references or whatever, I don't know. But you know you're really like fucking with some shit that you probably shouldn't be when you're doing that. Yeah. All right.
There's a bunch of those find paragraph functions too. Like, I don't know.
Really?
They've copy pasted them and modified them a little bit. Yeah, there's one in parties, I think.
Oh no. Oh, that's one big thing I want to do is because we do that, you know, splitting on spaces and dashes all over the place. And we literally just do it by hand everywhere. I'm like, why don't we have a function for this? What happens when we change something about that, right?
Yeah.
And that's exactly the problem, because it turns out David made that change so that we don't take the minus signs out of numbers, you know? And it's only in that one spot. So everywhere else that we split on space and dashes, I think that's the source of a few alignment errors. So we're assuming things in other places that are no longer true. Which is, you know, kind of disconcerting.
Yeah. Well, as long as you're using utils.find or whatever, like, you'll at least find indices that are valid. It might not be the match you're looking for. It could be too early.
Mm-hmm.
But
sometimes, though, just one word off makes it look really bad.
oh yeah, I know. I guess it could be one word off if you're doing some like hyphen stuff.
Yeah, because if there's a in there and you got a couple hyphens off or whatever, you know.
I think we just have to make sure we reflect that change in like the 3 or 4 different spots across the code base where we're doing splitting on words, because we split on words in the try code, and it has to be exactly the same way we split on words when we're doing the word IDs, and it's not, I don't think, all the time.
Yeah.
So if you look for like, that split hyphen, it's like a lot of cases across the code base.
Let's see. I'll probably show you a snippet where this is.
You might have to do like single quote, double quote, because there's no consistency in the code base.
The cache structure is where we. Oh, wait, hang on. No. Where did they get their word IDs? Is it here? CP. Oh, it's probably C paradox. Oh. What are you like, committing a mass shooting over there?
I'm spamming my dance. I just need to bind it to my mouse wheel so I can scroll really fast and like spam dance really fast. It'd be amazing.
afraid of this code. There's actually not that much here.
In like 10 minutes. Yeah.
Has been slain.
don't know why, but bofa has become this Gen Z term. Like bofa D's nuts, right? But every time I see it, I just think Bank of America because of fucking parties.
Yeah. What I hate about that too is I would do BOA, but they do BOA.
Yeah.
Bothers the hell out of me.
It's a weird abbreviation because they like spell out the of.
Yeah. Maybe it's an English thing. It's British, you know. Like the upsy downsy.
That's from Stranger Things. Upside down. It was just Britain.
What? No. What?
No, the upside down would actually be Australia because they're on the other side of the earth.
Oh. No, there's actually a finance term called upsy downsy.
Oh really?
Yeah.
That's great.
They posted something and the lawyer stuff or whatever. And just looked at it for fun, and I immediately just see upsy downsy, and I was like, hey guys, I don't know what I'm talking about here, but like maybe we just do like up or down instead of upsy downsy. That would sound more professional. And Samir is like, no, that's an industry term. And I'm like, okay, never mind. I'm just never gonna correct you guys again. Upsy downsy, are you kidding me?
Yeah, what? Next I'll be saying no clicky is a lawyer term.
Well, the reason I bring it up is because they were. Oh yeah. Because we have in SLLs we have agreements to agree. Like, what the fuck does agreements to agree mean, man? It's like a terrible term, right? And I'm like, I don't know, man. Upsy downsy. Not gonna say anything. And then they were talking about it just the other day, and they're like, we want to rename agreements to agree. What do you guys think? And I'm like, hell yes. I was giving them shit for that.
Wait, we named something agreements to agreements?
Yeah, agreements to agree. Or agree to agree.
Jeez.
You gotta agree to agree. And I guess they said that it basically means you're gonna sit down, and I think this is a term we made up too, but you're gonna sit down, you're gonna agree to sit down at some point and talk about the agreement or something like that.
Yeah.
And what it really means is like, you might convert this into an SLL in the future, is what it really means. And like, yes, anything besides agreements to agree, because that sounds so dumb.
Today is Wednesday. Is that what you said?
I said today is a waste.
Oh, it's a waste. The Wednesday.
I like diffed things for 4 hours basically.
Oh man.
And now tripping over stuff that is not my stuff. To be fair, it's possible that I actually did mess something up and it's totally my fault, but it just doesn't seem like it's
Yeah.
not the route of investigation I'm taking.
Oh god, he hurts. Not the ultimate. Where's my friends? Oh god. Make it stop. Get him.
Killing spree. Shut down. Your team has destroyed a turret.
This function is unused.
Yeah, I found some of those. Always fun.
One of these get references functions and utils. Not even used before. It's redefined in CPs in one spot and used in one spot. Go down the rabbit hole just to figure out what these arguments are.
The controller stuff? Yeah.
Yeah. Stuff
Datas,
like
dude. It's just data.
Passed through as like an argument. You're gonna use the mirror, it gets passed into another function.
Yeah.
And then that gets passed to another function without like mutating it at all or anything.
Oh yeah, you guys gotta forward it though, because it's like spaghetti. Just gotta keep
Yeah.
forwarding the mutables through and through and through. It's funny because I asked my friend if that's just how you would like write JavaScript or whatever, and he's like, no, it's not even how you would like write JavaScript. It's just like bad. Like, oh, maybe they just don't know. It's like JavaScript style. Nah.
Nick is like, he's mentioning he's trying to get them to adopt a more structured format for stuff. And you know, he's a real low key, but I kind of wonder if it's like driving him up a wall, because when he got hired, that was like the first thing that he said. It's like, yeah, everything's just unknown. There's no data type anyway.
Oh, in the front end code?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the nature of JavaScript is that there's not, but he's coming from the TypeScript world, I guess, where you actually know what's going on.
Yeah, so much better. Yeah, I'd say the same thing about Python. We should just start typing everything. And I do, going forward. Like, why would you not?
Yeah. Especially the input arguments. Like, why would you not want to know what the type of that is?
I know. I think you only have to type hint the parameters and returns of your functions too, because it knows when you declare stuff what type it is. And if you type hint your functions, I think you get it the whole way through, right?
Yeah. You don't necessarily have to type in the output either, if you just figure it out. But
oh yeah, from the inputs, yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what I do by default now. I know I use lots of type hints, but it's usually just based on like if Pylance can't figure out the types, then I start inserting them so that I can make it easier for myself. So I think I've gotten lazier about it, but I do try to type hint the function signatures because that's what really counts and helps Pylance out.
Yeah.
And it's just nice, you know. I'm a little worried though, because I've looked at some of my code, and some of it's starting to get pretty convoluted. It's just the analysis is just complicated, you know? And it's like, man, I don't know, it's probably just as bad as like anything I've complained about walking into, you know? But I don't know, maybe not. Looking at the green loan stuff that Charles Ackley has been doing, and not spending the time really understanding everything that's going on, but it looks fairly straightforward. And he's not even doing things quite in the same format as what I would do, so it's just useful readable.
Charles Ackley writes really clean code. Actually, I saw him. He might have rewrote my MFN code. I don't know if it was a rewrite of the analysis either, but he did it like the style that I really like, where like every sequence is its own function. So you have a whole function that just returns one pattern. Super nice. I was like, whoa. He had a cool repper trick too, where like the repper's unique, so your dunder hash is just the repper. It's just the hash of the repper, and I'm like, oh my god, makes so much sense.
Seemed a little hacky to me, but I guess it works.
It's kind of hacky. It's also succinct though. Like the repper, I guess you're not guaranteed it's going to be a unique representation, but like
I think
May
in
as
the
well be.
abstract you're not, but you may know based on how you designed it that it just will be.
Oh,
You know,
you
like
guys.
if the core of your data was like, this is in relation to this element, this section, and this paragraph, and each of those were ints, your repr would obviously just have that, and then you could hash that string, and it would be unique, or it would just equal the same spot, right? So like, if you know what your data is, it could make sense.
Yeah.
Then there's only one spot to change that as well here. Change the repr and the hash at the same time.
I'm waiting to like scan, and this guy just jumps right in as Tristana, just like face forward, no fear. I'm like, guys, let's ward up and scan. No. Right in.
Wait a minute. Can't you not inherit from named couples for some reason?
Oh yeah, you're not supposed to, right? Because it broke Scython to do name tuple like a class like that. At least when Alden did it, but I don't know if we found out if it was because of name tuples or because like Alden was using functions as values, which I think should be fine. I don't know. Because in Python, functions aren't immutable, right? You can add new attributes to a function after it's created, and I think enum values are supposed to be immutable because it like does a dictionary index on them so you can get the order one lookup of the values or whatever. But I don't know. Enums are like, I know what they are, but it's still kind of magic to me how they work in Python.
Well, yeah, Python's implementation is just a little weird because it's Python.
Yeah.
Oh, that being said, my only real experience aside from that is like C++. You know, I don't know. Maybe it's a C++ thing that's weird, but I doubt it. No. Huh.
Has been slain.
I think I gotta find a new coffee shop.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, one I'm going to is like kind of cool, but the staff lately is just like forming a mutiny. They're all talking about like walking out and all this stuff, and I doubt it's actually that bad. I think they just have like scheduling issues. They don't like their schedules, basically.
Yeah.
But they keep complaining about it, and I just hear it in the background, and I'm like, But
I mean, Subway and Pizza Hut had scheduling issues like crazy when we worked there. That's just kind of how it goes, right? We're never gonna get perfect
that's why
clockwork.
I'm like, you know, if they wanna, if it's that big of a deal to them, like, hey, go for it. I don't really give a shit. But to me, though, I'm just like, really, like, this is the way this industry works. It's just constant problems, like interpersonal problems all the time.
Yeah.
But so anyway, but that's not really that big of a deal. But it's just like part of the background. And then like, you know, they have this like playlist that they play, which is nice, but it's like an hour long, I swear. It just repeats all day, you know? Like, and there's this like a hand brace that somebody stuck in the, like, you know how the handicap rails are in the bathroom. It's stuck in there and forgot it. It's been sitting there for like I don't know how many days now, like maybe a week. And it's just kind of like, oh, you guys really don't clean your bathrooms. And the soap's running out in there now, and the soap that they have in there is from, it was ran out before for like 2 weeks straight, there's just no soap in the bathroom, and you could like barely get a little tiny bit, you know. So I stole the soap out of the women's bathroom because all the employees are girls, you know. I'm like, you guys will replace that, I guarantee it, you know. And so anyways, I just feel like I'm starting to be like petty, which is weird. I gotta get out of here. Another place to chill.
Your team has destroyed a turret.
It always seemed like weird to me. Like I'm for workers' rights and stuff, but it's weird to like buy a coffee from someone who like hates the job they're working at, right? I don't know.
Weird is they don't even seem. It's just a negative attitude type of thing. It's not even that bad. Like they're not really complaining all the time or whatever. But when it gets slow, you know, and of course they complain when it's slow because that's what everybody does at these types of places, right?
Yeah.
But I guess I'm just missing Chaska because like the workers did not do that at Chaska, and they, believe it or not, these high school girls like they actually clean the bathrooms like basically every day, and I'm like kind of impressed because I probably couldn't even do that. To be honest, you know, like I'd probably slack off on that shit too, and so they're like just really solid at the Chaska Dunn Brothers. But I mean the place has. It's a little rickety in there. The guy basically wants to sell it, so he's not really invested in like trying to make it nice. But aside from that, you know, I don't know, they got a vibe going on. It's kind of cool.
I feel like on the ways out of Shoreline, there should be some really cool coffee shops.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I should go over there. The only thing is, well, if it's like a Caribou, it should just be like Caribou anywhere else. But hopefully there's one. Might be one or two like specialty coffee shop type places. But I don't know. I tend to like hang out for a really long time, you know, because I don't really care where I am, but I'd rather be not at home. So I'll spend 6 hours there sometimes, kind of a thing. So I kind of want a place where it's not too busy, so that it's not like I'm loitering, you know.
Right.
It just sucks though because I can walk to the sun. Maybe I should just get that right this one. Save myself some money.
Game was so mad that I missed that dragon. Like, all we had to do was buy items and win one fight and it's game over. Don't need it. Like, they can have second dragon as long as we come back with full items and win that last team fight. That's all that matters. Report Draven. Tristana was the one who was side laning the whole late game, refusing the group and just ended where it's such a lead the entire game. League players like workers at the coffee shop. Such attitudes. For real.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh, it's a good thing I'm not talking shit about a certain person who used to work here.
Oh. It's funny because I was just on autopilot that game. Like I wasn't even paying attention. Played too much League. It's like auto. It's like Tesla autopilot, right? I'm like, it feels like Dragon time now. It feels like a group with a team time now. It's so
I wish
good,
I
though.
could work autopilot like that.
You can at Amazon.
Amazon.
Actually, if you get a new analysis and it's like 100 regex sequences, that's kind of autopilot. You just type it up while you got like a YouTube on.
Yeah,
Watch
I
some
wouldn't
Ben
put a
Shapiro.
YouTube on, but it is kind of autopilot. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's go through the flow. It's nice. Dude, yeah, like the shadow reference stuff. I've been just thinking so hard about like how to do it right. Mostly actually just like I keep complaining about the data as it is being kind of weird, but